and welcome back to We the Panel, a Terrace House podcast, a podcast where we talk about the very first series of Terrace House, Boys and Girls Next Door. Hello, welcome everyone. We are back. The full panel is back again for episode 43, Twisted Fate. My name is Jason. Oh my God. Usually we do an introduction, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to do this quickly. But before we begin, I got to introduce the rest because we are all here this time. First things first, we got our resident TikToker, Cheska. How you doing?
I'm good. I have a candle lit up.
Ooh.
And I mean, it's not sponsored, but honestly, if you get a Sand and Paws candle, great sense.
Please sponsor us.
Wait. What's the smell?
It's called Sun and Fun. It says inspired at Dog Beach on the Californian coast.
Wow.
Dog Beach.
Yeah, I don't know why it says Dog Beach, but you know, it's
a beach for
smells
dogs.
really good.
It's a beach made of dogs.
Someone's ready for summer. Okay. Cool. Nice to see you again, Cheska. Of course, we got our lovely, everyone's favorite Tim. Tim, hey, what it do, baby?
Yo, it's going well, fam. Great to be here. I'm just waiting for the moment where we have like another Tim on the podcast, and then it'll just feel like a second-rate Tim.
Ah, dang.
I'm the favorite Tim.
Whoa, okay, that's so hard. Damn.
Yeah, I hope there's no other Tims then.
Yeah.
Don't make anyone feel bad in our little safe area here. But yeah, well, hey man. And of course, we got the lovely, look at this guy. He's shocked. He is speechless.
He's shaking in his boots.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Are you okay, James?
Oh my God, guys. We're gonna get to it, but I'm here too. Yeah.
We just finished watching the most recent episode. I think it was episode 43. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished watching it, and so James is still processing what happened. Yeah,
this is a peak what is this, like
Terrace House
analysis of what we just seen, because it's so fresh. Usually James is prepared, but not this time.
Maybe.
Surprise one.
So I am excited to bring this back as we haven't been together in a while. So what a great episode to bring us all back together.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite the episode, and I want to get to it, but before we do, Tim, I do believe you do have some announcements for us.
Yes, I do. And I have some great announcements for the lovelies who are listening right now. We the Panel, a Terrace House podcast, can be found on all podcasting platforms. That's right here on YouTube. That's Apple Podcasts. That's Google Podcasts. That's also Spotify. And if you listen to podcasts anywhere else, you can find us on anchor.fm/we-the-panel. If you see that brown background with the gray house, that's us. And you could also keep up with all things We the Panel on our personal Insta, linked down below, run by our sound editor and video editor, Mr. James himself. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tim. But as you said earlier, we are going to be talking about Terrace House, Boys and Girls Next Door, episode 43, titled Twisted Fate. And oh my gosh, guys, I'm still just like, I'm frazzled by what just happened. But we'll get it started, right? So what happened last episode, right? So the main storyline that's going on in the house right now is definitely between Miwako and Daiki, especially now with Daiki being basically on his way out of the house, and Miwako really trying to push the idea that like she likes him and just she's doing all the right things, right? So she did the whole weight loss bento box to try to kind of like help him out on his weight loss journey, and how that bento box actually kind of swung his feelings a little bit, you know, and she talked about how she's going to say her feelings after the fight. So skipping to today's episode, which, my goodness, it's the fight. So we start off with the weigh-in, which, you know, we got to see Daiki looking as good as he does with some Linkin Park playing in the background. And it was a, you know, great time, clear classic weigh-in, nothing too special there. But then we do get to see Daiki going to a cafe, going out with his sister. And that's when we hear the news that Daiki might be quitting kickboxing. And I was like, huh, like that's very interesting, because from what I know about like Japanese culture is that you usually have your one thing and you stick to it as long as you possibly can. So the big question in my head was like, okay, why would he do this? And that's when we learned that Daiki believes that he has, in his words, a shadow in his brain, aka some sort of illness, right? And he did say that after his fight today, he will take an exam after his match just to see how serious it is. And right after this scene happened, we panned over to the panel and you could tell that everyone, when they heard the news, they were like afraid, they were concerned for him. And they're like, yeah, like I don't really know if I want to see this match anymore because we're afraid for this guy. But of course, we do get back to the house where all of the housemates, except for I think Rina, were there in the living room, and they were just kind of talking a bit about Daiki's match tomorrow, who can make it, who can't make it. And then, you know, everyone goes to bed, except for Miwako and Daiki, who stay back. And once again, when I said earlier, Miwako is doing a lot of like the little right things. Like it came down to even just saying good luck. Personally, between her and him, like they started saying like good luck to each other. So it was great. So just from this chunk of, I'm sorry guys, oh my gosh, we'll get to why I'm so frazzled. But basically, what did you guys think of like the first couple scenes of this episode?
Well, just to build on your explanation there, it's like Daiki didn't like disbelieve that he had a shadow in his brain. This is from like a pre-exam before a fight. So when you're fighting in a organized sport like this, you have to do screenings for like, you know, doping, blood doping, steroids, all that, but also to make sure that you're not like contagious with any like blood diseases, like popular like hepatitis or HIV and stuff like that. And then they did a pre-brain scan, which showed that little bit. So that's how he knew that he had like there's a shadow in his brain. Not enough to stop the fight, but enough to be concerned. Yeah, sorry, just wanted to add that.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
You heard it, guys. It was I think you noticed the severity of the conversation when the sister was like, we never really do this, or you never really have cafe, like, you know, meetups or whatever. So the fact that she called out the reason why they met up was pretty serious already. Yeah. And I think there was the conversations like, have you told mom yet to Daiki? And Daiki said yes. And I think that's when it can't like, there is a big sense of concern because even like you could see both of them were about to tear up. Well, Daiki was tearing up. The sister was physically just like, oh my goodness, like distraught because she understands this is his life. And he literally just said, I might be done with it. So crazy. This is the first thing that happens in this episode. And we weren't even in the what do you call this? The Taylor Swift intro.
Oh yeah, we didn't even hit the main intro yet. This is all.
Yeah, so that's when you know the episode was like, go into your seatbelts or fasten your seatbelts.
Get ready.
This is a vibe. Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think? Yeah.
Well, okay. I just thought it was kind of expected that he would run into possible health issues, because kickboxing is such a dangerous sport. And like with other athletes from like ranging from hockey to football to even soccer, like wrestling, like you're gonna get severe head injuries. And this is one of those cases that, you know, it does happen. And yeah, like it's very heartbreaking to see it through Daiki, because you could just see like his passion going into kickboxing, and now it could possibly be ending because of a head injury. But,
yeah. I mean, not to like, I'm not disagreeing with you, of course. Like I agree, like that stuff happens, but it's not one of those things where it happens to like literally every fighter. So I wouldn't say that like I expected it or anything, but I'm not surprised, I guess you could say. It's the shock factor of in the moment of that happening. But just because it felt so like, it felt like I was watching like a drama, right? So that's where the shock came from. But yeah, no, like that stuff does happen to a lot of people that are in just combat sports in general, right? So it was really crazy that happened. And I don't know, my initial reaction was like a bit of concern, but you'll see what happens when we get later in the episode, because this is just the first of many things that happen. So it gets pretty crazy. But before we get to those main parts, we will talk about what happens next, which was a kind of like a cross between the prep for Daiki's fight and Miwako's audition. So I believe it first goes to Miwako's audition, into which we see a bunch of them lined up, with the big smiles, doing a little bit of meet and greet or stuff. And she does have a thing in front of a panel where she just talks about herself for a little bit. And she does do the classic thing of saying that she's going to try her best. And we also do find out right there and then that she actually did, like, she passed her audition, which was amazing. And you could tell that she was really she was really relieved, because it looked like she was gonna start crying, and it was amazing. And before we talk about everything with Daiki's fight, we do get to see another great thing about Miwako, is that she, right after it finished, she grabbed her bags and she rushed to try to get
out of there event, yeah,
which is great. And yeah, speaking of Daiki's fight, we do get to see Daiki kind of prepping for it physically, mentally. We see in the morning, we see Yosuke and Daiki in the kitchen, where Yosuke kind of, breaks a bit of the tension for Daiki, breaks a bit of the nervousness by saying something kind of funny, where he has his own kind of lucky underwear that he wears on the day of, and surprise surprise, Daiki does too, which is kind of funny. And yeah, Yosuke helped Daiki calm down, and they even look at the board that they have at their house, where it says all of the messages from all of the other members basically telling Daiki good luck and that he's got this. And Taechan even sent him a text saying that, hey man, you got this. And we even get to see at the venue, Daiki is warming up, he's doing his little kicks to the pads and stuff like that, and he looks like he's ready. And also at the venue, we do get to see Hana back to watch her boy,
surprise visit,
watch her boy do his thing. And yeah, it's all just really like, everything's kind of leading up to what's gonna happen next. But just to kind of like ask you guys and kind of just get to get your view on some of these things, like, what, like, at that point, right, like we know what happened now just because we've watched the episode, but at that point, what did you think about Daiki? Like, did you think he was ready? Did you think he might have been like a little more nervous because of the potential shadow in his brain that he had, or were you guys just kind of like hyped to see him go?
I could tell he was a little bit out of his element. Like, he's definitely got used to fighting, no doubt. He's a double champion, about to try and get his third. And but starting out in the beginning rounds of the clips and those like snippets that you saw, like, he wasn't his confident self. I think the whole like idea shook him before getting into it, right? Because I mean, obviously when you go into a fight, you try not to get hit, but now you're thinking in the back of your mind, like, oh, this hit could be the hit. Mm-hmm. This hit to the head could like end me. Like, you don't know, right? But like, now like there's that whole like, he seemed way more hesitant going into that fight. Yeah,
it really looked like he was really trying to like psych himself out before getting started, right?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot to think about when really in a situation like that, all you have to think about is just the fight. But now he's thinking like, oh shit, like, could this hit be the one to end my career?
Yeah.
Right. That's, yeah.
Yeah, tense. He did look more nervous than usual. Yeah, because before in his previous fights, it's like, okay, like it should be fine. I'll get through it kind of thing. But yeah, what Tim said is like the severity of his head injury really like spooked him, which like makes sense. And it is very valid for him to be very nervous about. But I think there was also this like determination for him to actually win with that, like, you know, looming thing on the back of his head, right?
I could see that.
Yeah, like if this was his last fight, then he's gonna do well.
Yeah.
So
this is my last fight. I'm gonna go out on top.
exactly.
Yeah, right on. Right on.
I actually didn't see that. I think he mannered himself in like a very professional manner. I think it's just due to the fact that we know behind what's going on makes the thing a bit more like, you know, I don't know, we're maybe creating a narrative, but I think he carried himself pretty okay. Like he's pretty good as a professional. I think the fact that sure there is something going on in his head, but I think in his way of putting into things, I don't know until I get the exam results. So I'm gonna deal with this fight already.
Yeah.
I think that's how he carried himself. But yeah, I can see maybe if he was like off. But I don't know. I thought he was hyped during his introduction, how he warmed up. It seemed like everything was like how Daiki really was planning for this fight. So
I mean, I noticed it the most when it was that shot of him like just looking down and then like
that face.
You see his face.
That face is a different face.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like I felt like it wasn't Daiki, but it was more the cameraman trying to like make it look like trying to like fit that story, you know, like
which is
good. Like he
so
looked good.
Smart.
Yeah, right. Like he looked good doing his kicks and stuff. When he was talking to his teammate, it felt like he was just prepping as usual. But then it got to that one shot with the hood over his head, looking down, and like the whole atmosphere kind of felt kind of dark. And I was just like, oh man, right. This is a thing to think about, I guess. So yeah.
Like, honestly, I would like to give a shout out to the production of Terrace House for this episode, because this was a well shot and well edited episode overall. And I think it was the best shot and edited episode that we've seen so far.
Yeah. Speaking of shots and edits, actually, while we were watching it, we were talking about how much of this felt like an anime.
Oh yeah, with the music, the composition,
the moving camera really made it feel like dramatic, you know?
Oh yeah.
Especially when it came to Miwako and how she was like rushing her way and
she had to make it on time. Yeah.
And she was like running to get through it. And then when she finally made it into the venue, it was just like, it was so dramatic.
Yes.
And, oh man.
And the music choices, all of it, like Linkin Park, we got like Fall Out Boy. Like one of my favorite Fall Out Boy albums was featured on there. And I was like, damn, they're really treating it like an intense drama for this episode.
yeah, like that. Terrace House is known for just stationary shots. Like I don't know if there's any other series. Like I'm trying to think in other future Terrace House episodes if they actually did something as close to chasing Miwako in a cam, because the reason why they did it is to emulate the rushness, right? Because they're trying to like chase. She was trying to chase in time for her thing, and of course they got that mood right. But like, I've never seen, or I don't recall any kind of like that kind of shots other than like maybe surfing, but that's still stationary because it's just like panning here and there. This one's like legit, like
hand cam.
It wasn't prepared. There's people everywhere. It was just like, you know, the cameraman was like trying to move aside with Miwako. So I really enjoyed that. That kind of threw me off because, you know, expecting Terrace House, it shook things up. So I was like, ooh, okay, this is great. And I know we got to talk a lot more, but shout outs to Miwako. I don't know if you guys realize, like, that audition, she failed last time of doing it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, she did.
So I think that's why when she got her audition, it meant a lot more, because it's just like, again, this girl probably worked so hard just to get into that audition because, you know, previously before she didn't make it. So like, yeah, like this was all in a good high. Miwako's good. She's chasing. And yeah, she makes the fight. And dang, yeah.
Yeah, no, there was just so much that was done right in this episode, right? From the way that certain scenes were shot to even just what happened to a lot of the characters, and even just seeing Miwako, because this whole audition, right, there was no kind of build up to it. Like, yeah, she did say that she had an audition, and like she said it in passing when they were talking about Daiki's fight, but we never knew that there was this whole story between Miwako failing this audition last year and then finally making it back again this far this year to seeing if she can actually make it. Like, we never knew about that, but I felt like we still kind of went on the ride with her, right? Just because of how it felt and how that story was kind of told. And yeah, it felt really nice to see when she won, or when she passed and she started like almost crying. Like, it felt like we were there for her, which was great. And then when it came to the actual shooting of the scenes of her rushing to get there, it just felt very, this might just be me, but there's something about when people are using hand cams to record specific scenes that make it feel more personal. Like, it feels like I'm literally with her, running with her to try to get to the venue, you know? So yeah, everything was just done really well. But yeah, we will now talk about, oh my gosh, probably my second craziest thing that happened in this episode, which was the actual fight itself, right? So fight time, we get to see all the intros and all that kind of stuff. And surprise, surprise, Miwako made it right on time, like right before the fight was about to start, which was amazing. As Cheska said, Fall Out Boy was playing in the background, and the fight was cool. You could tell that I think Daiki had like height and reach disadvantage. Like, you could tell that the other guy looked like longer than he was, but they both look super lanky anyways. But it looked good. Like, they talked about after the fight how both fighters were pretty dang good, right? And they were throwing a bunch of punches. Daiki threw this like spinning, I don't know what to call it, but like he like jumped in the air and like kicked, and then he missed it. So then the other guy was like, let me do it too, and then he missed it. And you could tell there was like a mutual respect. They were both smiling. They touched gloves after they both whiffed their moves. And yeah, the fight went down to decision, and by unanimous decision, Daiki won. Yes. What may have possibly been his final fight. So after the fight, Daiki and his teammate are in the locker room, right? And Miwako comes in, and she basically talks to him about the fight and how great it was, but then she asks if they can go home together. So they walk home, but they stop by a little park. Yeah. They stop by a little park to talk, and that's when Miwako tells him that she passed her audition, which was great. And that's where she tells him that she still has feelings for him. She still likes him. But as what I expected, Daiki does still see Miwako as just Miwako. So after everything that's happened, after this entire storyline, Daiki still doesn't have feelings for Miwako. And yeah, it was really sad. But this time it felt different. You know, it felt more like a sense of closure for Miwako. She wasn't crying. She was actually smiling still, which was great. And yeah, there was a lot of relief for her. And they still walked home together, and it felt nice. It felt like that chapter has closed, which is amazing. So when it comes to the two things that just happened, right? Let's go back to what we were talking about in the prior episodes, right? With our predictions with Daiki's fight. A lot of us thought he was going to lose.
Yeah.
Right? But-
Well, I wasn't wrong, but I'll get to that later.
What?
Oh, we'll get to that later. We'll get
Okay.
to that later. Okay.
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 Well, how did you guys feel when you saw that Daiki won?
Oh, I felt happy.
Yeah, same.
I was so happy that he didn't lose. Like he didn't lose the fight. But yeah.
I'm just so curious now because you said that you're not wrong. But you
Yeah.
distinctly say
We'll
that you thought it
chat
was
about
hilarious.
everything. I'll say I'm not wrong after we discuss the next set of scenes of after the fight, post fight.
Huh?
When he gets to the hospital, we'll talk
Oh.
about that after.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what about so what was your prediction about the fight earlier before?
Oh, I was saying he's had it like too good that
Oh,
something's going to go wrong.
Oh.
Something's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
go
yeah.
wrong.
Oh,
in one way or
okay.
another.
Yeah, you did.
well, I
say
wanted
he was
him to
gonna
lose,
though.
so just to mix
Right.
it up.
Yeah, no, we all said we
Yeah.
wanted him to lose just to mix it up.
Whoa,
It was a
you
tough
didn't say
opponent.
you wanted him.
Okay,
to
not
lose.
one. We predicted that he was going to
Fucking-
lose to mix things up. But we were wrong.
Wow, I like how you worded that. What did you predict that he was gonna lose?
Why? I mean, I agree with Tim. It's like it's too good to be true. It was like 2 wins back to back. Like
A third win, like
third win back to back.
That's
That's so rare.
Hey, man was on his Mayweather status. Like, man
That's
just didn't
true.
want to ever lose. You know?
True. Yeah, I wanted him to lose because of the content. I will be admitting that, and it's okay. But I'm glad, like, win or lose, like the guy, like we've seen him, we've watched him like throughout the show. Like the guy
Mhm.
works hard, and it's great for him. Like
Yeah,
he earned that win.
he did. He really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, you could really see. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You could really see that like he does put the work in, right? The entire time that he's been here, we've seen montages of him at the gym, and he really puts in the work.
Also, Hana showed up.
Hana showed up.
Yeah, James. I
Yeah,
know you love
James.
that
That
love
was
team.
so
Amazing.
cute.
I know I wasn't here last episode, but I know you're like, oh man, Hannah and Daiki, what a team.
Because they were, man. Like it was a different dynamic, and I know, like I was like messing with Miwako like last episode, but it's as I said before, Miwako's basically, or she was basically like copying Hana because everything that Hana did was right. Hana was doing a lot of the good, like she was doing a lot of the right things when she was with Daiki, right? So that's why I like I was really good with like, or I really liked Hana a lot because she was doing all the right things for Daiki. Because at the end of the day, you know, I'm a Daiki fan, so yeah. But it was really good to see her here, which is amazing. Like she didn't talk much, but like it was just great to see her, which is nice.
Yeah. Well, my prediction about Miwako from the start was true. Unrequited love till the end.
Okay, fair's fair.
I mean, yeah, I think I agreed with Jay because I saw her very similar to Taechan, and like going back to his like love life track record, it's not as hot. So I was predicting the same thing for Miwako.
Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of like, you know, we were wrong about a lot of things, but it was just it's good to see that he won, you know. Great to see that he won, but also great to see that Miwako isn't like completely destroyed by the fact that Daiki still doesn't like her. It was just nice to see that she wasn't sad. Well, she's definitely sad, but you know, as I said, she seemed more relieved, or it just felt like a sense of closure, which was nice, you know?
Yeah. Like that last episode, she really took that advice to Aya from the heart.
Mhm.
She's like, make your opportunity the best, right? Do what you can, just make sure you don't have any regrets. And look at that. It was like a perfect anime scene. Of course, there would be hanging in on a playground.
Children's playground by the
yeah.
swings.
Yeah. I was like, will you walk home with me? Yes. And in the end, I know this ended rough, but I would still like to walk home with you. I'm like, oh, so wholesome. And yeah, it worked out. And yeah, it was good closure on that arc, I guess.
Yeah.
And I hope it's done because I know we have much more serious things to talk about after this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, this next scene, the last scene of the episode, where Daiki did say that he was gonna get an exam done after his fight, just to see if the shadow in his brain was serious or not. So Daiki goes to the hospital. He gets an MRI done, and he finds out that he has a cyst in his head. There's a buildup of water in the, I believe it was like the front left lobe of his brain. So basically the doctor told him that he can't kickbox anymore.
Yeah.
And it cuts to Daiki's face, and he looks absolutely destroyed. He looked so sad. And then the episode ends. Or the door closes and the episode ends. So what were your reactions? Like, just to kind of think back to when we watched that part of the episode. What were your like gut reactions as soon as we heard it and as soon as you saw Daiki? Because I could tell you mine, but I would love for you guys to go first.
Well, to elaborate on what I previously said, Daiki has had it good for too long. So he won the fight. He won the fight, but he lost the war, unfortunately.
Oh, that's such a sad way to put it.
Too good.
Won the battle but lost the war. Damn.
I had a feeling in my, like, he's had it so good. Like, aside from what happened with Hana, but even that, like, that was like a mutual break. He wasn't like heartbroken or destroyed by that. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just on the up and up. It seemed too good to be true to just win the championship and leave. And here it is. I knew something was like in the shadows lurking, and it happened. I think he was diagnosed with an arachnoid cyst, and that's no joke. That's like a buildup of water in the frontal area of the brain. And so it just comes from repeat damage. He's so young. He's 23, 24.
Yeah, around that
At that point,
age.
probably around 24.
Yes.
Like, just to put it into perspective, average retirement age for boxers is like 36, 37. He had at least another decade to keep going if he wanted to.
Wow.
Like, and this is started, like, typically boxing, kickboxing, you start at like a young age of 14 to 16. So like, he's already pretty much like been doing it for a decade, and he had a decade more to go. So like half of everything everything he's worked for just got cut in half. And I was just like, frick, man, like that, like, what do you do? It's your passion.
Yeah.
I think the panelists after the fact are like, yeah, what do you do when, especially in Japanese culture, where you focus on the one thing and that will be your passion to move forward? What do you do when you cannot do your passion anymore? How do you move forward? Like,
yeah, that's the big question, right? And that's kind of why you could see on some of the panelists' faces, like you look at you and then you look at Tori-chan, they're on like the verge of tears, right? Because they understand that this guy can't do what he's basically trained his entire life to do. He can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So he's gone. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know, like, Cheska, what did you think when you saw it?
I mean, yeah, I was like really heartbroken about it because like now that Tim mentioned that like his career was literally cut in half, that's the one thing that's like would destroy me. But I think my first reaction towards is like how much respect I have for athletes in general, because they go through so much damage to their bodies. Like I was reading stuff about like gymnasts like ending their career or like retiring at like mid-20s because they've done so much damage to their bodies that they have to retire at such a young age. And even for dancers, like dancers retire at like around their 40s because they can't do it anymore. Like that's why I have so much respect for like so many athletes. And Yeah, it's like so weird to think about it because like I guess for like musicians and like other people in the entertainment business, you can keep going and still be fine.
Yeah. But with an injury like Daiki's, it's like if you're a vocalist, like hearing that you developed polyps, or like
Yeah.
as a guitarist, like finding out at a young age you have like joint arthritis, like
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's one of those like career ending injuries.
Yeah, like for Julie Andrews as an example, like she had to get vocal surgery and she couldn't sing the way that she used to sing before, but she found another way and like just continued with her acting. So like there are ways for other people to move on with another career, but it's still heartbreaking to know that your first love in terms of your career is gone.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like when I first, so like when we saw what happened to him, like automatically my mind went to all of the careers that were cut short because of health problems, right? Like you have people that would have like an irregular heartbeat and that stops them from playing a sport, right? Guys like Chris Bosh, he probably still had like 5 years in the NBA he that he could have played. He couldn't get it because irregular heartbeat, right? You have people that finish their careers early because of concussion protocols, right? There are guys in like their professional wrestling business that retire at like 32 because of repeated hits to the head or something like that. You have guys in hockey that, once again, concussion protocols, football players, soccer players, all that kind of stuff. It's crazy to hear that like there are so many stories of people that have their careers cut short because of injuries or illnesses that it's just too much of a risk for them to even continue, you know? So it's tough, man. It's really tough. And to hear about Daiki in particular, as Tim said, he's only like 24. This guy's basically in the peak of his career, right? Like leading up to this, we never saw the guy lose. And even going all the way back to his like member intro teaser, we saw him in a room with a bunch of trophies and stuff. Some of those could have been his, right? And he's signed to this gym that is, if those trophies are the gym's, then he was signed to a proven gym. So they knew that this guy was good, at least. And we never saw him lose. So he's good. And he's young. 24, that's so young. And now he just can't do it anymore. Like, it's crazy that happens to him. But yeah, Jay, any thoughts?
Thoughts. Okay, so there's a lot that you guys could covered. So yeah, athletes go through a lot. I don't know if you guys ever know about the whole Carrie Struggs. So we're talking about the gymnastics. I think it was like 1996. There was a gymnastics, I think, team, and the lady her name was Carrie Strug, I think. I remember this because it was like so long ago. But basically, it's such a momentous moment because I believe I think it was vault. And she landed it, but she tore 2 ligaments.
Oh.
And in able to win the medal, she had to vault again.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing this video. Yeah, I know the story.
And I don't know if during real time, if people knew that she tore 2 ligaments, but I think it was after, right? Like real time. That was like gymnastics was in terms of like, yeah, like athletes going through the worst just to get that through those moments. It's harsh. Yeah. Respects to the people to devote their lives on something that could be as mundane or, if anything, the most extreme, and they're the best at it. Like, yeah, you gotta give them respect. So yeah, good job for Daiki. But in regards to the whole situation, when I first thought about it, or realizing, or at least watching the thing happen, first thing I thought was, you can't write this stuff up. Are you serious?
No, you really can't make it up. No.
Don't even.
Yeah.
Like, again, I'm thinking about it in a Terrace House perspective. I haven't seen anything that kind of drama. Like, usually, like, a big thing would be like, wow, he said no, or she said yes.
This person cooked the beef.
Yeah, like, it's such a small smidget of, like, even to, like, later on, like, those are considered like, wow, what a moment. And I'm surprised, I guess I didn't know much about this series, but like this itself was like, yo, that's crazy. I can't believe this is an actual thing. Cause I remember like Cheska and Tim was bashing about the show. Not enough drama. Look at how the tables turned in this show for y'all.
How the turns tables. Yes.
I mean, okay, to be fair, you guys only showed me and Tim, or just specifically me, one episode of one of the most boring Terrace House seasons that I was like, I'm not into it. But now this happened.
The thing with Terrace House is that it's not drama all the time. It's not all the way through. And that's what makes it different, right? It's There are parts where it's just mundane things happening. Right, it's just kind of like they take a dip, and then here we are. We're at like a high, but that's just what Terrace House is, right? So it's great to see that y'all are invested in it, though. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, this series of Terrace House, their dramas like this, and I really like that. But yeah, I don't know. This has been like a pretty interesting version of Terrace House as of right now. I've only seen that one other episode that I didn't like, so I don't know. We'll see.
We could just all agree that this episode itself was just, built different.
This was
100%.
It felt different. It really did.
Yeah. But in terms of the whole thing, yeah, it sucks, man. But I don't know. I thought about it more. I'm like, did you guys see Daiki's mom during the fight?
Oh,
what was she holding?
Yeah, she was. Oh yeah.
Picture
of what we would assume is his dad.
Yeah.
So I got into my conspiracy hat. I may be drinking the Kool-Aid now.
Put the foil hat on.
Jesus.
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
So do you think, now that we know that he has a cyst in his head, do you think, because I was reading about it, that it was hereditary?
Oh, it's genetic?
Oh, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
Depends how Daiki's dad died.
You read my mind, Tim.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, geez.
Think about it. Imagine Daiki, his passion was, or maybe his dad was also into fighting, or was a kickboxer as well, or maybe something happened, or the complications grew too because of the same thing that's happening to Daiki right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just making up content at this point, but like,
hey, I mean, let's take a story and run with it, you know?
You know what I mean? Like, and now imagine all those times. Maybe Daiki did know that it is part of the process. It is part of the risk of being a kickboxer throughout all those fights. Mother knows it well. Sister knew it well. Maybe reached to that point of, whoa, it finally caught up, or wow, it actually happened to him.
That just makes the story more sad if it is hereditary.
Like, I think it would be more of a triumph, if anything. I'm glad if he did know that from the start, he still fought from it. Good for him, because that shouldn't stop him from what he enjoys doing.
That's true.
That's true. That's very true.
So like, again, 23, 24 as a fighter. I don't know if that's that for me, that sounds young. Like we see people in the UFC, like, I don't know, we just saw that Conor McGregor.
Oh, McGregor just fought.
That guy's
like 30.
Exactly.
30 something.
And
yeah, and you could tell weak bones.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know. I'm writing out this like theory. I'm like, oh wow, maybe this was the part. Like, I don't know, it's poetic in some sort of way, but that's how I thought about it. And yeah.
I mean, I was just searching up his competitor.
Daniel Williams?
Yeah.
How'd you find his name? It's very common.
Wait.
I just put Daniel Williams, which is Danial.
Oh, I didn't know there's a spelling difference.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Then,
and then I put Daiki, and it worked.
Yeah.
So he's from Australia. Pretty solid. There's no records of his fight with Daiki on this website, but he's lost. He has in his pro MMA record, it's 3-1-0. So 3 wins, 1 loss.
Damn, his one loss was to Daiki.
Well, there's no record of Daiki's fight on here,
Oh.
so it might have been.
Well,
What I
that's
remember-
MMA record. That's not in
Yeah.
kickboxing.
Like, okay, so it's just like kickboxing bout, kickboxing bout, and then Muay Thai bout. So I think he's done a lot of different types of fighting styles.
Well, yeah, different organizations track different things.
Yeah.
I'm sure Target isn't MMA. Target is kickboxing.
Yeah, no, I'm just this is the only thing that I found out about.
Okay.
There's not a lot of info about
And
him.
I thought these fights were not real, like officially counted. I thought they were like it's a different league. It's like an exhibition where their titles are in, but they just want to like see people bout.
Mhm.
Like
That could be.
I mean, he's still fighting to this day.
Good
there
for
you
him.
go.
Had a
Good for
fight
him.
this past April.
See,
All right, on.
And this episode was from maybe 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, the other guy's still fighting. That just lets you know how much of a career Daiki still had. Like, oh, that's it.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's tough. As I said, after this, the episode does properly end. So I do have a question for you guys, because it's a question that I ask you guys every time a member leaves, which is, what type of housemate do you think is going to show up next? So from my guess, let's just assume that Daiki is going to leave next episode, right? He's going to break the news to the rest of the housemates. They're all going to cry, but then he's going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
What type of person do you think is going to try to fill, or not fill Daiki's shoes, but just fill the role of Daiki, in the sense that we need a third guy, right? So right now we have Taechan, we have Yosuke, and then we have the empty spot. What kind of person do you think is going to show up, or would you want to show up?
One of the options I thought about was so stupid, but I shouldn't really.
Hey, say it.
Okay,
There's no wrong answer
okay.
there.
Imagine how funny it would be if Masato comes back
Stop.
in.
Okay, never mind. There is a wrong answer.
Okay, we'll take that back. We'll take it back. Actually, that's a dumb answer.
No. No.
I take that back. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, but okay, no. My real answer is like I feel like they're gonna keep going with this athlete like person coming into the house. So I think another athlete is gonna come in.
A skateboarder.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
someone
how
that could
about, like-
actually teach Jaechan how to skate.
yikes! Oh, the shade today.
Oh, he can skateboard. What are you talking about?
No, I know, but like, no, I'm like thinking like a pro skateboarder, like an X Games type of dude coming in. Like, you know what I'm, not
I was
saying like,
thinking. Oh wait, go ahead.
oh, like, you know, it's one thing to go on a skateboard and push yourself around and skate that way. It's another thing to like do tricks and go on like a vert ramp and all that. Yeah. I want a wild card. I want a crazy, like off the wall, loud mofo who just like mixes it up. I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone's quite civil. I just want to like, hey guys, it's me. Like, I don't know. I just, that's what I want to see. Also, sorry, before moving on, I think I said kickboxing is not MMA when I meant to say kickboxing is not UFC. That's my bad. I just wanted to correct myself previously in case anyone decides to like rip on me in the comments later. Just want to, yeah, okay. Anyway. Yeah.
I was thinking baseball because baseball is very popular in Japan.
That's also true, yeah.
Yeah, so could be a baseball player.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, so wait, is this what you want?
No, this is what I think. What I want? I don't know.
Tim, Tim, that's what Tim wants. A guy that's just gonna rumble the house.
Yeah, just like shake it up, you know, just like
because those were like based on James' questions. It was want and what do you think? So okay. I think it's a model.
Oh,
a male model.
Just because of the track record. So that's what I think. It's gonna be a model guy. And he's gonna be boring. No, I'm lying. It's gonna be another civil, a civil model, just trying to make things work. But what I want is a Japanese salaryman.
Oh,
Oh,
A
what?
Japanese salaryman, a 9 to
Oh,
5
what?
like suit
Yeah.
guy.
Yo, you want a businessman.
I wanted-
Uh,
I was so high on the pharmacist. If you only got one scene of pharmacist work, I want to see some.
There's only so much content you can get from a dude working in the pharmacy and like putting
know.
pills in a bottle. Like, from a producer's standpoint,
How
it's
about
just
this?
like a bad turn.
Jay wants
How
something
about
he can
this?
relate to more.
I know exactly because it's like me living there.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
fill out that Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. Tell me more about this month's quarterly.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, he's home late again. What was he doing? You know, team building with his coworker.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I want that, but I doubt it. So yeah, I think it's a model.
Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine a dentist showing up at the
That'd be
house.
kind of cool.
I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
I don't think
I
they
am
could
all
shoot
for
that because patients, unless the patient sends a waiver to have a camera be stuck in their mouth
I mean, hey,
for a
you're
shoot.
you're on TV. You're on TV.
Yeah.
That'd be so sick. That'd be so sick. Imagine they're in a dentist and the guy, like, you know, the guy's like, oh, so I'm gonna be on Terrace House. Oh my god! And like they're like speaking Japanese, but of course subtitles. Oh yeah, I know that show. Wow, good for you. Yeah, I'm gonna try to find love. Yeah, that's good. I'm about it.
Okay, because what I'm thinking about, it can't be a model because we have too many people in the entertainment industry at this point. Too many.
Surprised if it
Cheska,
happens.
you do not know.
Wait, is there a chance that the whole house is from the entertainment industry?
Let's just say it was throughout future seasons. We kind of just wondered, why are they all kind of doing this?
Oh no.
in Terrace House?
It's
Yeah.
always,
Oh.
if not a full-time model, a part-time model.
Oh, geez.
So
With a kink or
Yeah.
but I do this at the side.
Okay.
you know?
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Is that the right word?
Kink?
You mean like niche?
There we go.
You know what I mean, guys.
Sure, yeah. Just don't think kink was the right word there.
Kink, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
What do you
would like
would like?
a member that could potentially gain the interest of Rena. Because if
Interesting.
you guys remember last episode when the girls went out for their girls' night out, they did say, "Hey, Rena, you should put yourself out there more. Maybe start talking to some people." Because Rena said that she don't really do that too much. So, what a time to capitalize on her trying to look for someone, then throwing someone that could be of interest to her, someone that is very work forward, because that's someone that's something that she's into, someone that focuses on themselves. And I know you guys did talk about how Yosuke could potentially be like the perfect guy for Rina, but from what we've seen, there's kind of like a tension between Yosuke and Midori.
Oh, jeez.
Midori.
Oh, jeez.
Midori.
Yeah, between them two. As far as I know, things could change, of course, but as far as what I can see right now, he's kind of out of the picture for that. So let's throw a guy in there.
A dentist.
I mean, maybe.
A dentist.
I
was a
wasn't-
percussionist.
I wasn't
Everyone plays
thinking
guitar.
I wasn't really thinking about like occupation. I was thinking more like fit into the house. So
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, someone that could gain interest of Rena. But I also really like the idea of a dentist. So let's hope that he's a dentist as well.
You guys.
Or a dental hygienist.
Player.
Dental hygienist, or like a chiropractor, or
Any respectable profession, honestly, as long as it's a 9 to 5 thing, I'm down.
Yeah.
Not modeling.
Yeah, just not
9 to
modeling.
5, but does modeling on the side.
oh, come on, you're
I
not
wouldn't be
an OG.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
I want to see a chef, actually. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think a chef
That's a good
profession
one,
would be
too.
cool.
So we can get some nice food shots again.
Yes.
Get
But
that
personality wise, I want someone to just shake shit up.
But see, here you go, Tim. So do you want a guy to do that? But I feel like we already have one person that's in the show already. That's doing that.
Yeah, Midori.
Yeah, like last episode. Like I know we're not talking. I know it was last episode, but still, like what James said on like the advice of like, oh yeah, I want to see someone that's really interested in Rina, and like Rina was like, who gave her that advice to reach out and try to like be more interested in other like other guys, right? Trying to make that romance. Wasn't it Midori?
Yeah.
Says the person that said also, I'm interested in Yosuke. And I love how, she's gaslighting at this point, but
a little bit.
yeah. So,
I mean, hey, exciting times, right? Very exciting times.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time to be watching Terrace House right now. So, yeah.
That it is.
Yeah.
Gonna miss Daiki a lot, though.
Me
so
too.
Much.
Oh.
You know, it'd be a fun thing to do that I know they're not gonna do, but it would be a fun thing to do if like they did a little mini montage of all the stuff that Daiki's gone through, some Hana stuff, like the camping area scene, a little bit of that. It's not gonna happen because that's just not great TV at this point. It doesn't fit at all. But it would just be hilarious if that happened. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, but like, hear me out. Imagine it's like the American Idol, like, you know, elimination montage, and then it's like Home by Chris Daughtry being played in the background.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, we're falling off the rails here, folks.
I think they would do that, man. He's a key character.
He is.
Didn't they do that to
Did they do that to the OG
one of the first OG people that left? I think.
They did it with Masato and Rie.
Yeah, they had like a little like montage of like, oh yeah, here's
So
what they did in the house.
It could happen.
It's possible at that point. And I remember watching it, I'm like, this is a first, okay, but I'm about it. But yeah, I think it can happen.
Okay, well, before we go too far off the rails, because we already are, we're gonna end off this episode. So, of course, thank you guys so much for watching. Before we go, Tim, you do have an announcement to make for us again?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. And that announcement is We the Panel, a Terrace House podcast, can be found on all podcasting platforms. So not just here on YouTube, but also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere you get your podcast, basically. You can take a look at our Anchor. That's anchor.fm/we-the-panel, where you can find all things We the Panel related, as well as our personal Insta, link down below, run by our editor, Mr. James himself. Yeah, if you have that brown background with the gray house, that's us.
Yeah, nice. And of course, we do have our own little personal plugs. So, starting with our resident TikToker, Cheska, where can we find you on the internet?
You'll find me on Instagram and TikTok at Cheska Camille _. I am in the process of making more musical TikTok, so we'll see how that goes.
Woo!
All right. And everyone's favorite Tim, where can we find you on the internet, good sir?
You can find me on my personal Insta for sure. And like all the other ones are kind of taking a break from right now. But if you're interested in whatever's there, Twitch link down below, YouTube link down below, as well as my Insta. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And of course, our favorite... What am I trying to say? Our favorite not so silver-haired fox. I haven't done it in a while, guys.
Yeah.
Jay, it's been great to see you. It's great having you here.
Welcome back.
Giving that different perspective. It's great to have you here. So where can we find you on the internet?
You can't. No, I'm playing. You can find me at my Instagram. Yeah, it's gonna be in the description box. You can find me there. I went golfing recently, and I get it. I was always against it. But I'm like, I get it. And I want clubs now. So yeah, hit me up with them clubs.
Gotta get
golf clubs. But yeah, anyways, James, how can we find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me on the internet, and you can find me here on We the Panel. Tim, I did your bit again for the second episode in a row. You can find me here on this show, We the Panel, where we'll be talking about all our stuff. But of course, you can find me on my own personal YouTube channel, my personal Instagram, where we could talk about Terrace House. We could talk about anything Marvel. I haven't watched Black Widow yet, but I'm glad about Loki.
Isn't it just out?
Yeah, it just came out.
It's pretty
Okay.
fresh.
I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
it today. We'll see. But
Okay.
yeah, you can talk to me about that or any other thing. Yeah, you'll find me there. And yeah, so this has been another episode of We the Panel, a Terrace House podcast. So from myself, James, Cheska, Tim, and Jay, we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Sleep warmly.